Okay, so I now want to shift my focus to Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. And look, I've been critical of the Milwaukee Bucks over the past couple of years. I know Giannis is a great player. He'd be in my top 10 players in the NBA right now if I were to make a list. But however, I don't think he deserved one of the MVP awards he got. The first MVP award he got, I was not campaigning for him. I felt that James Harden had a far better year, but for some reason the media decided to give it to Giannis Antetokounmpo. I really don't know why. However, this past year when he won over LeBron James, I was in support of it because I felt that he deserved the MVP and he had a great year that warranted him getting the MVP award. And you know, some people have said that Giannis is the top 5 player in the league. I think a lot of those people have sort of cooled down a little bit. I wasn't really one of those people that said, oh, Giannis is a top 5 player, because he's just not. You know, he's not quite on the level of a LeBron, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, James Harden, or even maybe a Kawhi Leonard, who actually beat him head-to-head in the Eastern Conference Finals a couple of years ago when Kawhi Leonard was in Toronto. You know, Giannis had a chance to go to the finals. He failed. And I think Chris Middleton is good, but Chris Middleton's not a guy that I think scares defenses, you know. I've been very critical of Mike Budenholzer. I think that he has not made enough adjustments when it's mattered most in the playoffs in the past couple of years. And we gotta be real. The Milwaukee Bucks over the past couple of years have won a lot of regular season games, but come postseason time, you could consider them to potentially be a disappointment. Last year they got swept by the Miami Heat in the second round of the playoffs, I believe, yes. And this year, it's a little bit different because so far in 2021, things are actually starting to line up for the Milwaukee Bucks. Everything's lining up for the Bucks to win the 2021 NBA Finals. Now, will they do it officially? Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to find out. But if you're a Milwaukee Bucks fan right now, you should be very, very happy about where your team is at. And you realistically do have a chance to win the 2021 NBA Finals. I really do believe this, okay? Because here's the thing. In the grand scheme of things, a couple of years ago, LeBron James was in the Eastern Conference. LeBron James is now out west. Same thing with Kawhi Leonard. He's now out west. You know, Joel Embiid continues to get hurt. You know, Joel Embiid is limping around in the Atlanta Hawks series. I'm not sure he's 100%. And while Atlanta is a good story this year and Trae Young is amazing, Atlanta does not have the horses to go out there and beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee has a much better and more experienced roster. Atlanta's full of a bunch of babies and Trae Young, and you can just double team Trae Young and sort of take him out the game because, well, his supporting cast isn't all that great. And everyone said, oh, the Brooklyn Nets, maybe the next dynasty. Well, this year, Kyrie Irving is dealing with injuries in the playoffs. James Harden is dealing with injuries in the playoffs. Kevin Durant has had a history of injuries, you know, and while Kevin Durant is still the final guy remaining in the playoffs right now for the Brooklyn Nets, we don't know when Kyrie Irving and James Harden are going to come back. And right now, the Bucks have all the momentum versus the Brooklyn Nets during this series right now. It's tied at 2-2. Milwaukee's coming off 2 of the best games of the season. And now Kevin Durant is left with just Blake Griffin and who's the other guy? Bruce Brown and Joe Harris. And I think the rosters are pretty even right now. Brooklyn, if they had their fully loaded roster with Harden, Durant, and Kyrie Irving, I don't think anyone was going to come close to beating them. But now Milwaukee has a legitimate shot to knock off the Brooklyn Nets. Milwaukee should win this series. If Giannis is as good as some of his fanboys say he is, he'll go out there and win this series, okay? This is a huge opportunity right now this year in 2021 for the Bucks to win the finals. And by the way, you may not get a better chance currently than you have right now, Milwaukee Bucks fans, for you to win a championship, okay? Because next year, the Brooklyn Nets, I highly doubt they will get worse injury luck than they did this year. Every single star on the Brooklyn Nets roster has missed a significant amount of time due to injuries. Usually, the injury bug isn't, you know, roaming around your locker room that badly, okay? Next year, Brooklyn, they're gonna be having more chemistry next year. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, second full season playing together. Probably not gonna have all those injuries. Philadelphia is gonna be the second year with Doc Rivers as the head coach. And the Atlanta Hawks and the New York Knicks are getting better and better. And those teams could potentially make a move. And obviously, LeBron James and Anthony Davis come back next year. A lot of people thought that, you know, the Los Angeles Lakers might have won the championship if LeBron and Anthony Davis were fully healthy. But they weren't fully healthy throughout the season. So, Giannis, you're on the clock, man. You're a 2-time MVP. the Milwaukee Bucks have a great chance to win the finals because everything's lining up for them. No more LeBron James, no more Kawhi Leonard, Joel Embiid is hurt, Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks don't have the roster to compete with Milwaukee, and Brooklyn is dealing with injuries. If Milwaukee doesn't win the championship this year in 2021, it'd be a huge disappointment. And by the way, I gotta say, the moves the Milwaukee Bucks have made have panned out. They really have. They've panned out, and Drew Holiday, PJ Tucker, they're playing some good basketball. They've proven to be very good additions to this team. But I will say, Milwaukee, be careful, because if you don't win the title this year, it may be a long, long time before you have another chance as good as this year in the Giannis Antetokounmpo era. And Giannis, I know he stayed for the next couple of years when he signed that big contract. I don't know if Giannis is going to sign a second big-time deal with the Bucks if he knows he can't win a championship with his team. So we'll see what the future of the Bucks holds. But this year in 2021, they have a great chance to win the NBA Finals. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.